Hey guys, this is Brian Baugh, creator of Wolf and Batsy, and I just wanted to do another Brian's collection videos. This is going to be a quick, short one. I just had to show you guys this because it's so cool. This is an unboxing video, sort of. I've actually already unboxed it, but I want to sort of unbox it again just to show you so you can get a sense of the surprise that I got with this thing. Okay, real quick. I am a huge movie collector. I love collecting Blu-rays and DVDs of like my favorite monster movies. And right before Christmas, I saw an offer online for a new Blu-ray set, a collected set of a series of movies that I happen to love. And I ordered it for myself, and it was pretty expensive, but I thought, what do you expect? It's got 15 movies on it. And when I ordered it, I thought, it would come, like one of these, like here's Paul Naschy's The Werewolf versus the Vampire Women, the Paul Naschy collection. It's got a nice book inside with, you can read it, as well as like having all these movies in there that you can watch. I assumed it would be one of these. Here's this one I got last year for the horrible Dr. Hitchcock, which has, great, upgraded high quality version of the movie, plus a little collector book inside, all this exclusive artwork and stuff like that. I assume that's how this thing would show up, this new set that I ordered for myself for Christmas. But instead, excuse me, sir, it showed up like this. Yeah, look at this. This thing is huge. I mean, this is the size of a normal Blu-ray, right? I thought it would be like a little cute box set like one of these, but this thing it's Godzilla sized. I mean, look. Okay, now I normally do my homework when I'm doing my movie shopping, especially when it comes to these overpriced, obscure collector sets. Sometimes I will pre-order things blindly on the fly, but it's usually like with a company that I'm familiar with, or I've bought their other products. I know what I'm going to be getting. I have a sense of what the movie is, and I'm very familiar with the Criterion collection who put this out, but I had no idea it was going to show up and be this big. I just saw this image on Amazon and just ordered it, assuming it was just like going to arrive like one of these, a normal sized, special edition little slipcase cover Blu-ray collector box set kind of thing. Instead, it comes as this gigantic, awesome book, and it's the entire Showa era, all the Godzilla films from 1954 to 1975. This set has every single Godzilla movie that was played on television over and over and over again to death on Saturday afternoons when I was a kid in the late 70s and early 80s. The entire collection of all the movies that made me love Godzilla in the first place. Okay, the label came on the back when it was in the shrink wrap, but this shows you all the different movies that are on it. I was going down this list. I was like, okay, I read the description when I ordered it. I knew what I was getting, but somehow when it showed up looking this amazing and this special, I couldn't believe it was as complete as it was. Like, it's like too good to be true kind of feeling. Like, you got the original Godzilla from 1954. That's the old black and white one. Godzilla Raids Again. I think that's the one with Anguirra, right? Godzilla vs. King Kong is on here. Godzilla vs. Mothra in 1964. This is one of my favorite ones ever, which was also released under the title Godzilla vs. The Thing when it came out in America. This movie has, in my opinion, the best looking Godzilla ever, because, they changed his appearance because they made a new costume, basically, for every film. But this movie has, the best looking Godzilla suit, in my opinion, where he's got these lowered eyebrows that give him a evil expression, and he's got big sharp teeth and big sharp claws. He just looks great in this one. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Me and my college roommates had this on a cheap videotape in college, and we watched it to death over and over again, a million times. Invasion of the Astro Monster. Ebirah, the Horror of the Deep. That's the one with the big red crab sea monster thing. Son of Godzilla with Minya. Destroy All Monsters. Destroy All Monsters is an important one. That's That is to Godzilla movies what like Secret Wars or Crisis on Infinite Earths was to comic books. This is like the one where all the bad guys show up and Godzilla has to fight all of them. All Monsters Attack. I think that's an alternate title for Godzilla's Revenge, in which he fights Gabara, which is one of my favorite Godzilla bad guys, even though he's a goofball. He looks kind of like a big blue cat-faced Godzilla with orange puffy red hair. He looks like a Muppets monster, but I always love that guy, Gabara. He's great. So that's the one with Gabara. Godzilla versus Hedorah. That's also known as Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. Definite fan favorite. Godzilla versus Gigan. That's one of my favorites. With a falcon kind of faced monster with big hook hands. And he looks silly, but he's super deadly. He gives Godzilla a run for his money. I mean, he's very impressive in that movie. Godzilla versus Megalon. That's another one of my all-time favorites. That's the one with Jet Jaguar, the big robot that helps Godzilla. Jet Jaguar, Jet Jaguar, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, one of my absolute all-time top 3 favorite Godzilla movies. This is just one of the best ones, best Godzilla action. It's also the one where this figure comes from. This is based on his look in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Probably my second favorite design for Godzilla. I mean, this is the Godzilla I grew up with as a kid in the late 70s, early 80s. This is the real Godzilla to me, you know? No matter how many different versions they do or modernized versions they do, this is what he's supposed to look like. Mechagodzilla himself is one of the deadliest of all of Godzilla's enemies. Super powerful robot. Like every part of his body shoots a missile or a laser or a lightning bolt or something. He's incredibly dangerous. And also he's made of space titanium, which, I mean, that should tell you how strong he is, right? So he's a real match for Godzilla. But also the other thing I love about Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla is it's also the movie that features King Caesar, who is one of my favorite kaiju monsters of all time. He's this big, lovable, weird, wonderful dragon, dog, lion character, and he becomes instant friends with Godzilla, and they team up and fight together against the evil Mechagodzilla. Just one of the best movies, with some of the best and bloodiest, surprisingly bloody, Godzilla action you'll ever see in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. One of the best. And then Terror of Mechagodzilla, which is the sequel. That's another good one. Obviously, Mechagodzilla Returns, but it also features Titanosaurus, and it's got some good action too. That's a great one. But this set is just, I'm over the moon about this collection. I mean, you got this huge book that opens up. Every page has artwork. You got this big essay about the Showa era, which was 1954 to 1975. And then you have a page of text and credits and a big illustration devoted to each film. It's just wonderful. I mean, look at this. Arthur Adams does the illustration for King Kong versus Godzilla. And if you're like me, of my generation, you grew up with Arthur Adams drawing great Godzilla art and being a guest artist in the X-Men comic books and Marvel comics all over the place. He did a lot of Marvel comic stuff in the 80s, and every 1980s comic book fan loves Art Adams, and he's one of the best Godzilla artists of all time. I mean, this is hilarious. But he did that illustration. There's one for 1964. There's one for Ghidra. Different artists with a different style on every page. I mean, this set actually makes me kind of jealous because I wish I could have had some of my artwork in a set like this. I did this illustration of Godzilla last year. Well, it was 2023, actually. It was a black and white illustration I did of Godzilla fighting a giant octopus, which doesn't really relate to any of the movies. I guess he does fight. There is a giant octopus in King Kong versus Godzilla, but it was just kind of just a fun piece. But man, it's like I look at all this artwork and I'm like, these guys are great, but it makes me wish I was more well known, so like I could get some of my Godzilla artwork in a thing like this. Wow, what an awesome opportunity that would be. Can you imagine? Okay, here it is. All monsters attack. Yeah, I think I was right. I haven't read all this yet. I just got this set, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is an alternate title for Godzilla's Revenge, because I recognize this kid. And if I'm right, then this is the one that had Gabara, the weird blue cat-faced Godzilla with the orange puffy hair, who is so silly looking, but I just love that monster for some reason. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Godzilla vs. Smog Monster, Jeff Darrow, another one of the amazing comic book artists of the 1990s. Look at that detail. Jeff Darrow is insane, wonderfully insane. I love him. This is the one for Gigan. That's a good illustration. Yeah, check that out. Godzilla vs. Megalon, one of my all-time favorites, where we fight Gigan again, makes an evil, vengeful return, and Megalon, the big beetle, and there's Jet Jaguar. Yeah. Childhood favorite, Godzilla vs. Megalon, one of the best. And there it is, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. There's King Caesar. I have a rule about this movie, and I've told this to friends who have come over and I've shown them this movie for the first time. You're not allowed to make fun of King Caesar, because we love him too much. Terror of Mechagodzilla. There you go. There's Titanosaurus. And these kooky aliens with the weird helmets. Are they in the picture? No. They're not in there. Anyway, just awesome. And then, on the very last page, you get all the Blu-rays, all the discs. And they're even numbered, so you can watch them in order. I mean, is this set phenomenal or what? For a Godzilla fan, this is a must-have. And of course, every Godzilla fan already has a lot of these movies on old DVDs and stuff like that. So do I. I mean, I almost didn't order this set because I already have some of these movies, most of them, on old DVDs. But I just thought, it'd be nice to have them all on Blu-ray and get them all in one set. And again, it's the Showa era. You know, these are all the Godzilla movies that were shown on television over and over again to death when I was a kid and made me a Godzilla fan in the first place. So that'd be nice to have them all together in one big set, but I had no idea it was going to show up and be something like this. I mean, this is a treasure. If you're a Godzilla fan, this is a treasure trove. So anyway, I was just so impressed with this, and it was just such a huge, literally huge surprise that I just had to do a video about it. A little quick review. I highly recommend this. When I ordered it, I thought it was a little expensive, but I thought, well, what do you expect? It's got 15 movies in it. Of course it's expensive, but man, now I really see why. Worth every penny. I'm so glad I ordered this. So I need to add one more note to this review, and I'm talking quietly because my wife and daughter just went to bed. Last night I did put on one of the films to watch it and see how it looked and sounded and everything. Put on Godzilla vs. Mothra, which is the one I said had just, you know, the coolest looking Godzilla. I still say the 1974 Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla Godzilla is the definitive look for Godzilla for me, but that 1964 Godzilla versus Mothra suit is, in my opinion, just one step cooler. It's like the classic definitive version, but just made more evil. So I love that one. Anyway, threw that one on and watched it last night, and no surprise, Criterion, they've been around a long time. They know what they're doing. And so the image quality and the sound was just perfect. It looks great. And then the following night, I put on Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, which is the one I was talking about earlier. I've actually got it on right now. I'm watching it again while I record this. That's the one with King Caesar, and I have to say, the more time I watch this movie, I just think this is absolutely my #1 all-time favorite Godzilla movie. I love a lot of them. I love Godzilla vs. Gigan. I love Godzilla vs. Megalon. But this is the one. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. This one just, I don't know. This is my favorite. The cream of the crop as far as I'm concerned. And what I love about this too is that, thank goodness, the Criterion Collection included the English dubs on the movies, which is nice as an alternate track. So you can watch the original Japanese language audio track, or you can watch the English dubs, which I just call me crazy. I love the English dubs on these films. I mean, because that's the version of the movies that I grew up with, you know. And I know that that's like controversial among some Godzilla fans because, you know, some people think the sort of cheeseball dialogue on the English dubs kind of hurts the integrity of the films. But I don't know. I just feel like they're Godzilla movies. I mean, come on. You know, to me, like some of that kind of cartoony dialogue is just part of the character and the reality of the world that these stories exist in. I don't know, for me it works. And again, it's the version I've watched a million times growing up with these movies, so I love the English dubs, especially on Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, which is just riddled with all kinds of great cheeseball dialogue lines. But the option is there, so you can watch them in the Japanese audio or the English version. Yeah, this one's just the best. Right now I'm watching the part where the girl sings the song that brings King Caesar out of the mountain to help Godzilla fight Mechagodzilla. This is just high cinema as far as I'm concerned. All right, anyway. That's all for this review. I think I've said everything I need to say. This Blu-ray set is phenomenal. I highly recommend it.
Ha 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 ha!